So this first photograph shows Ferret 2 before the addition of two square sails. Some of you would have seen it previously in this configuration on the waters of North Cadbury Lake. The control was basically exercised by the rudder, which is about 3 times as big as the correct scale model rudder. You can see both there really. For sailing, Ferret 2 has its lead false keel attached directly to the real keel by a nuts and bolt system, allowing its alteration fore and aft to get an almost, says I, hopefully, level waterline effect. I'll show you this as we go on. So the second photograph shows the addition of two square sails and below the hull, the radio control transmitter. Note the size of the rudder here and at the very base of the keel, note a couple of holes, you may just be able to see them, to take nuts and bolts which are repeated along the rest of the keel. And of course, that's vital for attaching the false keel. Now, in my opinion, the next photograph is the most interesting. So what's going on here is the actual fitting of the false keel. And you can see where my hand is that I've got this connecting piece of metal that goes down to the false keel on the table. And so I have fitted that using nuts and bolts to the real keel and back down to the false keel. So that's just before we stick the boat in the water. The whole point about my false keel is the system allows me to adjust the false keel fore and aft in order to try and achieve a correct water line along the top of the white paint on the hull. So we'll see how successful or unsuccessful I am as we go along to the next photograph. You see it floating gracefully, I hope, in the water just before it sets sail. You'll see, though, in the middle, a rather nasty looking addition, which is a great arm. And that I've put in there in order to try and control, to a certain extent, the larger of the two square sails. But all 5 sails you can see up there. And as I said, you can see the reasonable, I hope, balance of the boat in the water with the waterline. Right, let's see the next photograph. And here we are. It's on the water. You can't see very much really. And you will see in I think a next photograph, our dog Lucy going one way and Ferret 2 going the other way. Neither collided, I'm glad to say. So there you are. Right, let's see the next photograph. Now you can see that perhaps as the bow is a little too far out of the water, but I could have adjusted that simply by putting the false keel a little bit further forward, and that would have got it absolutely right. Here we are. Here is the rescue boat, which didn't actually have to be used, I'm glad to say. I'm just going to show you in the next photograph, comment or two on trying to control the 2 square sails. Now, I've not perfected that yet. I've got a swing arm in the center of the deck, really, and I've yet to get that absolutely right, I'm afraid. So this gives you another shot, and you can see quite well the boat now under sail. And coming up again, there we are on North Cadbury Lake. But as I say, I have yet to perfect the business of controlling to a better extent the large square sails, and I hope to get that right in the future. So there we are.